How are you, my friend? This is your favorite sorcerer, already is Sopax. Welcome to this video, in which I want to talk about financial astrology and the power of prediction, or rather, the power of prediction using spiritual means and spiritual tools to acquire information that is not available through mundane tools and means and methods. All right, so let me get to the point real quick. I'm gonna try to keep this video short, but there's a lot to talk about, so we'll see. I'll do my best to be succinct and on point. So here's what's up, man. Imagine the following scenario. You want to trade in the stock market, and now you're looking for an opportunity out there. Maybe you start your research on Google, maybe you heard something from friends, colleagues, maybe you're using YouTube, maybe you start to read financial newsletters and so on and so forth, right? Now, what you will find is that the financial industry is one of the most corrupted and most confusing industries out there. And I think the incentive is clear, right? Why is that so? Because they want to, the more you can confuse people, the more you can get them to put their money somewhere, right? I mean, the stock market and most markets are zero-sum games. A zero-sum game means that somebody has to lose in order for someone else to win, right? Now, I'm talking about financial markets here. I'm not talking about actual fair exchange when it comes to, let's say, products or something like that. I'm talking about the real stock market. I'm talking about the financial industry. I worked in that field. So I know what I'm talking about. Now, some people call that corrupt, right? Which it really is. It really is. Why? See, there's so-called dumb money and smart money. Smart money is usually institutional. So you have institutional investors, which are like big hedge funds, and others that are very, very well connected, who have access to the media and news outlets, who can give interviews, for example, and pump and dump a stock doing so. Okay, well, what is a pump and dump? Let me explain that. Now imagine you want to, you believe in the thesis of a certain company, meaning you have done your fundamental analysis. You believe that this company is sound and the business model is very strong. You usually would use Porter's 5-force model to analyze a company in that way, right? A very important tool in fundamental analysis. I don't want to go into too many details, but let's say you have found a company that you believe in. You believe the business model is sound. Now, long term or even midterm, you believe the price is going to go up. Why? Because over time, the market value is always going to match the stock price. Okay, now it's going to fluctuate. It's going to go below. It's going to go up. It's going to go below, and you want to buy when it's below the actual intrinsic value of the company, right? So let's say you are an institutional investor, and you believe that, let's say, Meta stocks are really, really interesting in the future, right? Or even the next couple of months, because they're just very strong, right? Now, what would you do at that point? You send one of your guys or somebody that is, paid by you in some way or another, someone who's associated with you, and they're all connected, obviously, right? Like networks and whatnot, right? And you tell them, listen, if you could put out some fake news in an interview, or even just say that you're concerned, your personal feeling about this stock right now is not good, right? And that could be 1 or 2 sentences in an interview, right? You know what that's going to do? All the so-called dumb money, the people that are trying to use, let's say, MSNBC or CBS or all this CNN, all this financial propaganda, which is nothing else but that. You think they want to inform you? No, obviously not, right? It's a sales pitch. They're selling you things for the most part. And let's say that person gives an interview and drops 1 or 2 sentences that they're skeptical about Meta at the moment, right? You know what the so-called dumb money is going to do? The people that are fucking listening to those people and actually think that the news is there to inform them, they're gonna sell. What's going to happen to the price? It's going to go down maybe 10%, 15%. Now that might not sound a lot to you. It might not sound like a lot, but if you're buying 15 billion of stock, 15 billion worth of stock, 15% or 5%, that's a lot of money. You see, 10%. That's a lot of money. You know? So now the smart money, the institutional investors are all, once the stock price goes down, they're going to buy. They're going to buy that up. That's what's called, you can also do that in reverse. You can hype something up. It's called pump and dump. So the institutional investor has a lot of money or has a lot of stock of whatever company, but they know it's shit. They know this is bullshit. It's not gonna be good in the future. They do the opposite. They send somebody into the news or into a news interview and tell them to hype up that stock. I really believe in Meta. Meta is incredible. I mean, did you see that new app that they launched or that new fucking, titty twister app or whatever the fuck they put in there? I think this is really going to increase, user activity and it's gonna be great for the marketplace on that platform. And it's going to do the opposite. People are going to listen to that and they're going to buy it, right? And at that point, you can dump the stock as an institutional investor. You can sell it at a very, very high price. And remember what I said earlier, the price is always going to come back to the intrinsic value. Once the stock drops, you obviously made a lot of profit there because you bought low and you sell high. That's always the goal, unless you're doing something like short selling. Right, so and when you short sell, the opposite is your goal. Now, let me take a step back. So this is how most people operate in the markets, right? So you have, I would say 99% of the people out there, let's not overstate that. Let's say 90% of people that are active in the markets are either smart money or dumb money. So smart money is manipulating the markets. They front run things. They create movements and benefit from them. They use the news outlets to manipulate the dumb money, and they can only win. There's a rule in the markets where it's the 90-90-90 rule. 90% of traders lose 90% of their money within 90 days. Very true. Now we're talking about retail traders, right? Institutional money always wins. You cannot win against those guys. It's impossible. They're politically connected. They have more capital and so on and so forth. Now, there are the other 10%, the 10%, which are actually really, really smart and they know what they're doing. And yes, they can win as retail traders. But you know what happens to those guys? Sooner or later, they're going to join the smart money by creating hedge funds and becoming institutional investors themselves, right? And some of those people do that. But the overwhelming majority are the so-called dumb money. This is not an insult, but they're acting stupidly. They're acting based on emotions, right? So most people can only lose in that game. Now let me take another step back. The difference between the two categories, dumb money and smart money, is yes, number one, capital. Number two, it's an information advantage, right? Information is worth real money. Information is not necessarily knowledge, because you're still going to have to put it into a context so it can become actionable knowledge. But information is very, very powerful. And that's usually what they have in advance, using AI and many other things for that. Now, why am I talking about things like that on a channel about spirituality? Well, because for many years, I've been studying the art of applying certain spiritual knowledge to markets like that, right? So why not? Why not? Frank, why would you do that? I know a lot of people, like even here on my channel, even though this is like the people that are really more sane than most, right? But a lot of people that are into spirituality, they will say that's not interesting to me. I don't care about money, right? But at the same time, they fucking work a job to pay their bills, right? Like, I don't care about this stuff. What you want to do is you want to escape reality. That's what you want to do. You're using spirituality to escape reality. To, your real world Dungeons and Dragons game, and you think this demon talked to you, that demon talked to you, this demon talked to you, but nothing in your life changes. Like, come on, man. Now that's some people. Most of you are not like that. I understand that, right? We want real world results, and it is a fact. Like you can't argue with that. Money is a very, very important part of our lives. It's just what it is. You can't ignore that at your own peril, right? I'll tell you what happens when you ignore things like that. It's going to bite you, and it's going to come back hard. So you do well to just master that topic. It can be a great teacher. While you're mastering it, you learn a lot about yourself. But that applies to any other subject as well. As you master something, you learn a lot about yourself. And it's not about the outcome, it's about the lessons that you learn as you become a new person. That's really what the value is. So why am I talking about stuff like that on a channel that is about spirituality, witchcraft, and magic? Now, first of all, magic is not spirituality. They're not the same thing. Right? Spirituality is really not magic. Spirituality is something that you would do to refine your consciousness, to refine your energy, and to increase your vibration, so to speak. And it's about dealing with things that are beyond the physical realm, beyond this lifetime. Essentially, that's spirituality. It's more mysticism, which I love to do. Of course, I'm a mystic by necessity, because you will not be a very, very. No, let me take that back. I don't want to speak in absolutes, but. Let me put it like this. Mysticism can enhance your magical success. You don't have to be a mystic to be a good magician, by the way. It's not absolutely necessary. Now, what is magic then? Magic is using spiritual technologies, which is really just energy work at a high level, to create concrete physical changes in the observable, objective universe. That is what magic is, witchcraft. You see? So if you're not using magic to cause concrete things to happen, you're not even a magician. At that point, you're a jerk off. But because if you're not using spirituality if you're calling yourself a magician, you're not using magic for concrete, real world results, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You're not a magician at that point. Okay, so let me get to the point here. So the point is, there are spiritual divination tools, such as astrology, for example, that can help you with gaining information advantages that resemble those that people in the smart money have. Now, let me give you an example. The good thing about the celestial bodies, the planets, is that their movements are quite predictable. Right now, today, using an astrological program, you can know exactly the position of Venus relative to Jupiter on January 13th, 2416. Easy, right? So the different planets represent different principles, and they represent the forces that rule over those principles, right? So when we're talking about Venus, the planet Venus, it stands for and represents beauty, aesthetics, art, things like that. So companies in the field of beauty, aesthetics, art, those sectors are ruled by Venus. And if Venus is strong, meaning Venus' influence on the planet Earth is strong, those sectors are going to thrive. If that energy is strong on Earth, you will see that reflected in the stock prices and many, many other things. Now, the planet Saturn represents inhibition, it represents problems, it represents harsh lessons. And Venus and Saturn can form angles, beneficial angles, as well as less beneficial angles with each other, which is a symbolic representation of a certain energetic condition that you will see play out on planet Earth as, in this case, falling prices for planets that are in that field that Venus rules, right? So you have let's say, an opposition between Saturn and Venus. Now, the energy and the energetic influence of Venus on Earth is inhibited. That will be seen and play out as negative events for companies in that field. It's absolutely predictable and correct every single time, right? And those are just two planets. And this is really, really like basic stuff. It's really superficial what I just gave you as an example here. It can get way more complicated and complicated is good in this case, because when you use astrology for your technical analysis, which is really finding entry points, exit points for your trading, and knowing exactly when the volatility is going to tick up, and many, many other things. If you apply astrology to technical analysis, there are many, many, many more opportunities to profit from that, right? But I'm just trying to share an idea here. I'm not trying to give you a detailed course on that stuff. I'm just trying to open up your awareness to the fact that you could use something like astrology, which is a very spiritual practice, a very, very refined science, very refined science. I've been an astrologer for a long time, but I'm still not even close to fully mastering it. Okay, now I'm pretty good at it, as any one of my students who have gotten a birth chart reading or something like that will confirm. I'm very fucking good, but I have too much respect for this art to call myself a master. That will take me many more decades. Now, as you use this art to things like that, like the stock market, and you could use that for many other tools to make money, you will have an information advantage that will allow you to outsmart, so to speak, the pitfalls, overcome them. You will win, even though this game is rigged against you. And that is really the essence of magic, isn't it? Right? I mean, that's why we get into magic, no? We want to have an unfair advantage, right? And you can have that, but you have to be open to it, and you have to look for it. You have to search for it. So, if you want me to put free webinars on financial astrology out there, if you want to learn more about financial astrology, put a comment below this video, like it, once I get 50 comments, I'm going to put a lot more stuff out there about financial astrology. And if you want to do that extremely intense, contact me on my Instagram profile, which I'm linking below this video, and we'll see. Maybe I can help you with that. Or let me take a step back. I'm pretty sure that I can help you, but I'm not sure if you want to, because the intensity and the depth of it requires you to participate, but it has the potential to change your life for sure. So those are my ideas that I wanted to share today. And be bold, don't be afraid of me. A lot of people are scared. That's what they tell me after they contact me. Frank, you're not as scary as I thought you were. Well, I am scary if I want to be, but not for no reason. If you're fair, if you're nice, if you're friendly, I will be. Don't be scared. I'm not going to curse you because you said a wrong word. We'll see. Good. So, comment below this video if you want to learn more about, or if you want me to put out more stuff on financial astrology and more detailed things. If you want to go into it more intensely, contact me on my Instagram, which I put into the description of this video. The website is under maintenance right now, and it will be up very soon. Hopefully you got something out of this. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.